Okay. Good morning and welcome back to the Chabad and Coffee. We're learning the Maimer of the Alter Rebbe and the verse Adam Ki Yakir Mikem, that is the opening verse relating to the mitzvah of sacrifices. And the Alter Rebbe here began with a number of questions. Question number one was, why does it say a man from you who will offer from you? It should have said a man among you who will bring an offering. That was the first question. The grammar doesn't seem to be in place. The other question was, why does it begin with Adam is talking in first place and then in second place, second person, and then it ends in first person. It begins in third person, and then it ends in second person. Right. And then the question is, why does it begin in singular, and then the verse ends with the plural? If you understood the Hebrew, if you read you have a better understanding of the Hebrew language, you would see the questions in the Hebrew. But those are the questions. So he began to preface the whole thing, explaining that that every Jew has the two souls, the godly soul and the animalistic soul, which we call the Nefesh Bahamis. It says the godly soul's source is from the face of man, which is from the man that was on the chariot in Ezekiel's vision. And then it descended down over here. Whereas then it came down into the body. The source of the animal soul is in the face of the ox, and the purpose of the descent of the neshama into the body and the animal soul is not for the purpose of the neshama itself, but to transform and to elevate and to perfect and to perfect the godly soul, the animal soul, to transform it through subduing and then transforming the negative side of it. And the way to do it says, therefore, per part of this, the way to get this to happen is obviously by the Shema, the prayer. But before the Shema, the rabbis instituted two blessings that talk about the source of the animal soul, which is the angels, which the angels are also called chayos, which are beasts, because they're sourced also in the ox, the face of the ox, and the face of the lion, etc. And this accomplishes that when a neshama accomplishes to transform the animal soul, it also benefits itself from this whole thing. That the godly soul also becomes elevated to an even higher place than it originated from. Okay. Now, we're on page 29. Although we read some of this, but we'll start from here. On page 29, where it begins motivations above and below. This phenomenon occurs when the awakening from above. He says like this, that when a Yid awakens himself down here to serve Hashem and to become a better person and to do this work of transforming the animal soul and the negative passions and desires, and the negative nature, that causes an awakening above. It elicits a corresponding awakening from above. So now he begins to explain this. This phenomenon occurs when the awakening from above is caused by the awakening from below. However, that means that we begin the process and then we cause Hashem to respond, right, in kind. However, there also exists an awakening from above that precedes and stimulates the awakening from below, which awakens man from his sleep and pursuits of the emptiness of worldly things. Similar to the beginning of the creation of the world, when God's effluence came about through unsolicited kindness, for he desires kindness. It's a pasuk, that's a verse. So when God created the world, there was no man to deserve anything. So he did it out of his own goodness. Right? So sometimes Hashem does the same thing because he loves goodness, he desires kindness. So he sometimes, even though we don't deserve it, he wakes and he gives us a little inspiration, he gives us a wake-up call. And subsequently the effluence depend, but subsequently, after the creation of the world, usually, the effluence depends on mankind, as it states, and he placed him in the Garden of Eden to till it and to protect it. Meaning to work, you have to work and deserve and earn. But sometimes, he says, now even though there definitely must be an awakening from below, after the creation of the world, that's how God set it up, that we have to work in order to receive. Nevertheless, an awakening from above is given in order to stimulate the awakening from below. Sometimes he gives you a little tickle. To understand the above in terms of the practical service of God, we see two levels in divine service. The first is an awakening from below, where man toils with soul and body, contemplating deeply, and with a broken heart, how distant he has become from God. When a person engages in such contemplation, engages in such a process, this process causes man to feel a manifestation of the radiance of God's closeness in his soul. Thus, when there is an awakening from below, it is followed by an awakening from above. That's one way. The first is that a person does it on his own. He works on his own accord to awaken himself through contemplating the greatness of God and so on and so forth, and with a broken heart, how distant he's become from God. So that is man starting on his own the process of getting closer to Hashem. When a Yid does that, that elicits a response from Hashem to continue to wake him up, to continue to inspire him. So it says, Sarusadu Latata, awakening from below, that brings about a response, Sarusadu La'ela, a awakening from above. Then there's a second level. Sometimes the soul is excited without preparation or toil at all. We see many people who suddenly become excited when they pray. Where does this excitement come from? Their hearts and minds become inflamed, although the source of this excitement is unknown to them. They didn't prepare for this, they didn't do anything specific. The excitement lasts for only a short amount of time and then fades away. This is because it is truly a stimulus which is only an awakening from above, to stimulate a temporary awakening from below. So sometimes it works the other way around. God starts the process, and sometimes man starts the process. When God starts it, it's a very, very quick thing. He inspires you, you suddenly feel this inspiration. But you really, it doesn't last for long. Because it didn't come from you, it came from an outside place, from outside of you. Now he says how to make that permanent. What do you do? So he says, now there is a difference between an awakening from below, which elicits the awakening from above. In other words, there's a difference if the awakening comes from you first, and an awakening from below, which is merely a response to the awakening from below above that preceded it. There's a very big difference how it starts. If it starts from an inspiration from above to wake you up, or it starts from you who then elicited a response. What's the difference? He explains, when the process begins with a genuine awakening from below, caused by one's own spiritual effort, then its result may be permanent. It will be lasting. The awakening from above, which is then elicited, shines and is revealed inwardly within the soul. For one's heart was prepared to receive it. Because you work to prepare yourself. This gives the soul the strength to experience yet another awakening from below. So if you start it, it has long-lasting effects. Because then you're prepared for the response that comes from Hashem. So it goes into you in an inwardly way, right? And it opens your heart is open for and prepared for it, and that then gives you an extra boost to even inspire yourself even more. However, when there is no toil of soul and body by the person, and the soul is merely being stimulated by an awakening from above, then his heart is not prepared to arouse his soul afterwards. He's not prepared for it. So God wakes you up, yeah? So thus the excitement can dissipate and have no permanence. Because it doesn't permeate you internally. Because your heart was not prepared for this. So it's an inspiration, a quick inspiration, that may be as quick to go away as it was quick to come. Once the divine light recedes, the inspiration is no longer, the light dissipates. Where are we? Once the divine light recedes, for it only illuminates during the auspicious times, it's not going to be there constantly. So then, it is as if the excitement never existed. Because it never really permeated you. It was a quick, exciting inspiration. But once that inspiration goes away, because it only comes at certain times, so if it's gone, it's got finished. You're left with the way you were before. Then it is as if the excitement never existed. For the only reason that he became excited was because of the divine awakening and illumination. The love engendered by the light dissipates when the light recedes. So that excitement in you also dissipates the minute that inspiration, that the light from heaven goes away. A sage's state. You understand what he's saying here, yeah? I mean, we can experience this in our own life, very, very, very real. It's a sage's state. If a man gives forth seed first, the offspring will be a female. Did we learn this last week already?
Yeah.
Really?
Unless it's repeating something from earlier.
Yeah, but
I think we did it in the introduction.
Yeah.
The introduction. Yeah, we didn't do this yet. Our sages state, if a man gives forth seed first, the offspring will be a female. This is in the Talmud Brachos. You know what that means? In the creation of a child, there's a female and a male both contribute. The question is, who contributes first? If the man emits first his seed, the product will be, the child that will come from that will be a female, a girl. If the female gives forth her seed first, I guess the egg or whatever, then later the man emits his seed, then the product will be, the child will be a boy. If the man is first, it's a female. If the woman is first, it's a boy. It's a male. That's the fact. That's what the Gemara says. So the question is, what is this? He's going to explain this on spiritual terms as well. Who's the man? The man in this case is God. Who's the female? The female in this case is us, the Jewish people. And he's going to say that this relates to the subject, to the discussion we were just having regarding if the awakening comes first from him or from us. If it comes from him first, then the inspiration in us will be the type of the type of inspiration will be a female inspiration. But if it comes from us first, if we inspire, we awaken ourselves, awakening from below, which elicits an awakening from above, then the inspiration will be a male. Now, what is this difference? He says, now, since the das of women is agile is agile. Anyone know what that word exactly means?
They're flexible.
Flexible. In contrast to women having the extra, look at 37. In contrast to women having an extra measure of understanding, their das, that is their ability to make firmly based decisions, is not rigid. Alright, so let's see, so he says like this. Now, since the das of women is agile, is flexible, they, in other words, the females born out of the seed of the man, can be attracted to worldly delights after prayer. But if the woman gives forth seed first, let's finish the paragraph. But if the woman gives forth seed first, meaning that the awakening from below elicits, comes first, and that elicits the awakening from above, from the man, then the offsprings will be a male, a love based on the firm knowledge and the service of God. It says that women were blessed with an extra measure of bina, understanding, more than men. On the other hand, it says that the das of women is agile, or not rigid, as he says over here in the note. In the spiritual realm that he's talking about over here is, if the awakening comes from above, meaning man emits first, God is giving the awakening first. He's that inspiration of spiritual awakening, which then brings about our excitement. So the man is first and then the female. So what's going to be the outcome? The spiritual child that's born from this experience will be a female. What's the characteristics of a female? It's not as rigid. Meaning, you can get excited during davening, but then later you're going to go to the street, and you're out to the regular day. It'll be gone, and just as fast as it came, it'll be gone. Whereas, if the inspiration and the, as he calls it in the parable, seed comes from the female first, meaning from the man, from the prayid. He does it on his own toil with work and effort. He's not inspired by above. He works on it and he contemplates and he toils, and it's a hard thing. So when he awakens, the awakening comes from below first, and that then inspires a inspiration from above, as he said. That elicits an inspiration from above, so it means that the female emits first and then the male. What kind of product the child will be from that? A male. That means that the inspiration will be long-lasting. It will be a much stronger inspiration. You're probably wondering, what does it mean that the women's das is a little less rigid? But that's how it says. That's what it says. That in bina women are stronger. In das men are stronger. In this particular case, he's saying that in the spiritual service of God, if it comes from Hashem first, the product will be a female. If it comes from a yid first, the product will be a male. That the inspiration will be long-lasting, will be much stronger, more on solid grounding, as they say. It won't dissipate as fast. We may now understand the reason behind a complaint of many individuals engaged in spiritual service. They complained to the Alter Rebbe many times. They experience a purity of spirit and an excitement in the service of God for many weeks. But then it ceases completely. What happened, they ask. The reason is, he says, this excitement came only as an awakening from above. And when this awakening ceased, the person remained just as he always was, with the same nature as before. Because it didn't come internally, it didn't come from him, nothing changed. It was an outside, a guest, so to say. A guest came in and gave you a good little inspiration, you walked away, you left, and that's it, so you're back the way you were. Let's read some of the notes. 39. The offspring that Rabbi Shneur Zalman refers to here is the quality of love that is born in the interaction of the awakening from above and awakening from below. If the man, in other words, God gives forth seed, meaning He sends forth the divine illumination as an awakening from above without man exerting any effort on his own. Then the resulting love that the person feels will be of a feminine nature, meaning the love will not endure and will soon dissipate. Hence, although during prayer the love of God is felt, afterwards the allure of the world overpowers that love. 40. Now, if the love is engendered by working first on one's own spiritual growth as an awakening from below, and then followed by divine illumination, it will be a steadfast and permanent love of God. He brings in the note, in the smaller words, a reference from another discourse in Likutei Torah. So he says in 41, Likutei Torah Bamidbar 6c, over there it says like this: in present times where there is no Beis Hamikdash, the godly energy is apportioned to the world by way of an awakening from above, which causes only a limited measure of influx, of stern quality judgment. There are therefore heavenly voices which lament the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and which call upon Israel to return to God. However, since this awakening is only from above, the voice that is emitted is termed a baskel, a daughter of a voice, meaning an echo, as opposed to a genuine voice. This is in line with if man gives forth seed first, the offspring will be a female, hence judgments presently prevail. In future times, though, the women will give forth seed first, so the offsprings will be a male, thus the awakening will begin below, and the result will be one of kindness, a play on the verse, he remembered his kindness. The Hebrew word for remembered is zocher, can also be read as male, meaning male, zocher. All right. He just references a different place that talks about the same concept a little bit. Let's read 43. Brings another reference. Look at the Torah in Tazriah. The rule, if a woman gives forth seed first, etc., can be expounded thus: if a person exerts himself in meditation to give birth to a love and fear of God, then he will elicit an influx from above, from the sublime level of inner light and energy that God radiates into Israel. He will elicit a spirit from on high, a great love that transcends his level of comprehension. He will then desire to totally unite with God as one. At times, however, a man does not provide an awakening from below. Awakening from above flows all the same, yet it is of an external quality of God's light and energy. So although it gives birth to a love of source, but it is a lesser quality, and the person is not totally overtaken. But it's a different, also the same idea, but different terms. At the end of the day, what the Alter Rebbe is saying over here, what's crucial in divine service, if you want it to be real and lasting, you can't rely on getting inspiration from someone else, even God. It's good to get them. But what you have to do, and he's going to continue that in the next part of this discourse, what should you do if you didn't wake yourself up? And you did get this inspiration from above. Does that mean that it has to be less permanent? Or could you do something about it? And the answer is that the Alter Rebbe is going to say that you have to do something about it. Meaning, right away as it comes to you, if you got lucky and God did illuminate, shine upon you His grace, no matter what it is, spiritual grace, any kind of, you have to seize the opportunity in the moment. You have to seize the moment. It's like to give side an example, in Chassidus there's a discussion, the difference between Chachma and Bina. What's Chachma? Those of you who learn Tanya will remember. Chachma is a quick flash, like a lightning, of wisdom, of intellectual wisdom. It happens oftentimes. You're stuck on a specific issue in learning, or whatever kind of wisdom, and you can't move further. You're stuck on an issue, and you don't know the answer. You don't know how to resolve this difficulty. And suddenly, it can come out of nowhere. You're walking in the street, and suddenly you hit feet. something happens in your mind, it's like a flash of wisdom. It's literally like a lightning. In the Chassidus, it's called a barak hamavrik, like the lightning, a bolt of lightning. What happens in a bolt of lightning? Middle of the night, you have a lightning. What happens? Suddenly everything is lit up. But it's very quick. It goes away. Sometimes you feel in your brain, in your mind, the resolution of this problem I've been toiling with for the last month is answered. I got it. But it's so quick that if you don't right away start taking apart what you just experienced, it'll go away and it'll never come back. Maybe it'll come back, but right now you lost it. So what do you have to do when you get that experience of Chochmah? Right away, Bina has to kick in. You have to right away start dissecting what you just experienced. It's like when you're in a dark room and you're tapping around, you don't know, you lost your way. Suddenly the light went on for a second, and it went off. And all of a sudden everything you see where the tables, you see where the chairs are for a second, right? If you're going to wait, you'll be lost again. Right away you have to put the things in place, right? You have to right away start, wait, this was here, that was there. You have to start taking it apart in your own mind. You have to start dissecting the Chochmah and build an intellectual structure out of it, which is what we call Bina. The same thing with Sarus Dula Sarus Dula Tata. You're right, if you didn't do the preparation, you didn't prepare your heart for it. So the inspiration comes, and as he says, many people complain it goes. Why does it go? Because they didn't seize the opportunity. They didn't take hold of it and open the heart right away. Sometimes you can open your heart after it comes, but you got to open your heart. You have to toil either before or after, but you have to toil. If you don't toil, it ain't going to stay. And that's the message over here. I'll have to make some more copies and the continuation of the discourse. But further there, Alter Rebbe goes into dealing with the individual parts of this animal soul. He goes into verse, talks about a bull or a sheep, and he goes into the very different details of what kind of offering we're talking about over here. When you're offering up your animal soul, some people's animal soul is more like an ox, some people's animal soul is more like a sheep. And he explains the difference spiritually in your own psyche, what the difference would be, and he tells you how to deal with it. It's a very, very profound mind. We'll continue next week.